dip in between like you've been eating salt and pepper?
You would eat salt and pepper.
Yeah.
Ish, did you make your picks yet?
Yes, I did. There's
Okay, y'all ready to roll?
You know how hard it was to get all four of us in one spot for this derby?
All the time.
Yeah, we're all not in one spot, but I understand what you're saying.
I'm at a truck stop in Iowa. Where are you, Ish?
You there? He might be looking at his picks.
What? I hope I don't have to sign in. I'm not signing in. Oh, maybe I saved it all. Oh, whew.
Anyways, welcome back to another Open Pros Pick'em.
Hold on.
We're Tenkiller this week. Lake Tenkiller.
He can't hear Todd, obviously. Can you hear us, Andrew?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Hey.
Today is brought to you by Deep Dive.
Deep Dive?
It's an interactive fishing app that kind of tells you everything you need to know about where you're going on a body of water. Definitely necessary if you're going to new bodies of water and if you want to learn things about the one that you're currently on.
I need to go.
And I really feel like that most of the field this week at Lake Tenkiller is probably using that app.
Yes, they are. Trying to figure out high water, 8 feet high, and cresting, hopefully.
No, I was looking on Deep Dive. It's just under 6 foot high right now. And it is dropping slightly, but I know that there's some more rain projected, and so that could vary significantly. So, high water, Tenkiller, I've been there that time of year, and with high water, it should just go completely off. It should be a really good tournament.
Like scoping?
It's a really good bush flipping when it gets high on that body of water, like insanely good.
So y'all don't think so? It won't be a scoping lake.
No, it's 100% going to be a scoping lake. But I really believe that there will be a bush flipping bite as well.
So
bushes.
All the guys flipping bushes are going to get killed.
Yes, probably.
Possibly, yes.
That's all I need to know.
Anyways, let's just dive right on into this.
Just gonna give a little announcement
real quick. Congrats, Ish, on your big win last week.
Thank you.
Or week
Appreciate
before, that. On the BAM out west on the Delta. Have you officially become the Delta king out there?
No,
I mean, you basically been winning everything out there.
Still not the Delta king.
Okay.
Nope. I mean, when I can't get on BTL, I mean, obviously I'm not the Delta king.
That's very true.
I've been home for 2 weeks. I haven't been home since you won it, Todd. I didn't have a BTL this week. Last week they were all recorded.
Ish, don't feel bad. I've been on one time, and the one time I got on,
you've been on like 3 times. I had you on the mega show for 2.5 hours, Todd.
I've never been on BTL. I've never been on BTL.
He'll just
record tomorrow afternoon. I can't have you on BTL because I try not to double dip, and you're on Todd's channel every third day for 3.5 hours.
So. Because Todd's my friend and asked me very nicely to be on his show, and that's why we talk and we have a great time and we get a lot of interest and views and people like to comment.
Would you like to record tomorrow afternoon?
I cannot record tomorrow afternoon because I will be on a boat in the middle of the ocean. But see, Todd knows this. That's why he called and said, we'll record when you get back. Deep dive.
All right, let's get on Group A, guys. What do we got? I'm not going to lie to you. I've went through these brackets about 10 times now, and I am lost. Completely
100%.
Lost.
How?
On about half of them. I ain't going to lie.
These are easy.
I'm lost on the whole thing. I'm going to tell you, people are going to see my picks this week, and they're going to go, yeah, Ish is on one.
What do y'all? This is easy.
Well, then just lead us off there, Todd. Group A.
Well, there's only 3 picks. You just it's a toss up between those 3. No one else even. Oh, Patrick Walt. Okay, so I thought almost everyone else was in the 0 percentile except 3, because that's where it's going to now, right? People have no faith in regular fishermen anymore. Just letting you know that.
0.
That's not me talking. That's the percentages. So if you're not Eastern Fothergill, Trey McKinney, or Shakurik, you're basically just wasting your time, and probably some of these guys need to retire from the elites because they have zero shot to win, apparently. I'm not saying this. This is what people think. I think it's horrible.
Well, I mean, there's other really good scopers there. You got Tyler Williams, Tucker Smith.
No, they don't think so. People don't think so.
I don't know how they don't think Tucker Smith's the real deal. That dude.
They don't think because Trey McKinney's going to beat him. I'm going to pick Shakurik. I'm just going to pick Shakurik because I just don't like. I don't know. He's top. Does he top 10 everything right now? So I'm picking him.
Pretty much. Okay.
What about you, Ish? Who you got?
I'm actually not going to go. I'm still going to ride the train a little bit, and I'm going with John Cox. I have to. I mean, the dude's still.
He's above 1%.
Yes, that's exactly why I'm picking him.
There's a little faith in there.
A little faith, because the dude catches them. He's the only dude that constantly makes the championship, the classic, without forward-facing sonar.
He should be way on up there. That does it. They don't believe it though.
I believe in him. I'm going with John Cox.
What about you, Matt? Who you got?
I'm going with one of Todd, the three that he named. I'm going with Easton Fothergill. We saw what he did in Oklahoma on Lake Eufaula. He's on a roll. Tenkiller is a very dynamic fishery where you can catch them a number of different ways, particularly with the 5.93 foot high water running 11.1 thousand through it with a variety of different watercolors from the top end to the bottom end. So you take his skill set, and I'll be very interested to see how he's able to make it. Also, you've seen what he's done on the bracket on tougher fisheries, and I think it was Milford in Kansas where he fished, wasn't it, with the smallmouth on that. Combine that with Oklahoma, I think we could see Nico drop shot some stuff on some shallower brush. But I mean, the guy can also fish. I think Easton's a great pick in this one.
No, I agree with that. I'm going to keep it real short and sweet. I'm going Trey McKinney because that kid, we got to spend a little time with him at the Pan Am stuff, and he kind of changed my perspective on a few things. And I think he knows as much or more about scope than anybody I've ever.
Let me say this before we go through the picks. So I had Trey and JT in A and B until I had some we'll get into that in the later picks. But so before the Off Limits for the Elite Series, I was out filming on Tenkiller for 3 consecutive days. I got there at daylight. I got off the water at dusk. There were two boats in the parking lot that were there before I got there, and they were there when I got off the water. And it was JT Tompkins and Trey McKinney who were out idling, just those two, the entire lake for a straight week, putting in the work. So it would not surprise me if either of them can. I guarantee they have every rock pile and brush pile on that lake done. They've already put hundreds of hours combined out there.
Yeah, I agree completely. Let's go Group B. Ish, go ahead and lead us off there.
I'm gonna go Oklahoma. I gotta go Okie on this one. And I know Todd shaking his head. I'm with you, Todd, but it's just hard.
I picked him and I got out of there because I'm going different. But I had him picked.
But Luke is the Palmer. I mean, but hey, he can use forward facing sonar.
He's very good at it
multiple times. He's very good at it. And especially once again, the mixture of him flipping bushes and putting the forward facing sonar in play could make him deadly.
I think if anything, it'll hurt him more than it'll help him. Just as a difference of point
using it.
Yeah, because if you know so much about a body of water, it's really hard for you to go sell out and do one thing or another.
Right.
And you can really get caught up on doing the wrong thing, even though you might think it's the right thing. So
no, I get that. I get that too.
I went JT Tompkins once again. I just think that's 1A and 1B, no question. I know the time that they put in. I think they're both starting to fish pretty good. The only other one in that group that really just catches my eye is John Garrett, just because he's been killing it everywhere he goes. What about you, Todd?
Don't care about history. Don't care about any of that stuff y'all just said. I picked John Garrett.
I like it. See, that's kind of where I'm at with it.
But let's hear the history. Let's go.
Yep.
Matt, what you got?
Couple things coming to play here. I'm going Luke Palmer, Oklahoma as well for a couple reasons. Number one, Tenkiller is a small lake. I don't think that you are going to, for 4 days, particularly after 3 days of practice, be able to do the same thing in the same part. That water is going to be falling. You've got weather coming in. You have varying degrees of clarity. I think you might have to have some scope fish. You might have to have some topwater fish. You might have to have some flip fish. Luke can do all of that. He's been on the lake before, so that's why I picked that. Here's why I'm a little bit nervous to go with pure scopers and guys who have spent a ton of time out there before. If you look at the deep dive app, you'll notice that the river is, and the upper end of the lake is muddy while the lower end is clear. Now, I've done a little bit of research on this. There's a phenomenon where even when the water's up, you should be able to catch them out of the brush piles in the summer. However, when they're pulling as much water as they are, there is often a thermocline layer of mud that is on the bottom below the 15-foot mark. So even though you might have clear water up top, the brush piles, the rock, the ledges that typically those fish would be on in June, even when the water's in the bushes, is actually muddy water. Now, the only way you can tell this is to look at what is coming out of Tenkiller into the trout streams below. And if it's muddy, then you've got two layers. Even though it shows clear on top, you can't figure out why you're not getting bit out of the brush. This is the perfect recipe for this to potentially be happening this week, which would really negate a lot of the scope bites. So that's why I'm going with Luke Palmer, because I think it's kind of going to be an all or nothing deal for that. And there's really no way to tell if it's happening. And I don't think a lot of the field knows that.
It's irrelevant.
That's a very interesting fact. I learned something right there because
I learned a whole lot.
Yeah.
But all of it means
I didn't know the whole bottom sucking out was what happened.
That's phenomenal information.
That information is brought to you by Deep Dive.
He just miscalculated one thing. You just missed one little thing in there. That was it. You doubted the scope.
I still went with Luke Palmer. I mean, the shallower stuff, and it might be fine down lake. I mean, it might be clear top to bottom. Now, this information comes from someone that I'm good friends with who scuba dives that lake regularly and has seen it firsthand.
Don't doubt the scope. That's going to be my shirt from now on.
You can't catch what's not there, Todd.
Huh? Oh, you act like, but see, you're fishing like fishing knowledge. They don't look at it the same way you do, Matt. That's one thing you haven't figured out. They look at it totally different.
See, the
like
Fortnite. I don't think that they.
You say that I've changed. You say I don't bring any relevant information, any of the outside facts anymore. Now that I'm engaged. I come with it now. I bring the goods.
It'd have been so much cooler if you just said there was a cicada hatch that was like about to pop off and is the biggest bug and frog bite of all time. But
Matt, that was great information, Matt.
No,
thank you, Ish. I would like to personally invite you, Ish, to be on BTL next Monday at 8:30 a.m. Central Time to discuss your big win.
Can't.
Hey, Ish.
Gonna be catching tuna.
Ish, would you like to be on mine when you get back? Because I know what day you're getting back. Okay.
Yes, I would, Todd.
The reality is, guys, is with the scope, if they're in 5 foot of water, they can still scope them. They don't necessarily have to be deep. And I think that's
if they're in a foot of water.
They don't care.
If they're 6 inches, if they're in 6 inches or 600 feet of water, they will catch them on forward-facing sonar.
Dude, they're liable to be throwing over the dam and catching them out of the freaking spillway.
They'll catch them out of those trout streams on freaking forward-facing sonar.
I don't even know.
Hey, before we get too far off topic, let's go Group C. I'm going to let Matt lead us off in this one.
It would be disrespectful to an entire state of angling community if Jason Christie was not one A, B, C, D, and E. I don't care if he's got 1, 2, 3, 50 scopes, 0 scopes on it. This is Jason Christie's house. This is literally 96 guys walking into Jason Christie's living room when he's not home, and then he comes home and says, "All right, guys, get out of my house."
So I do have a funny thing. I did go film with Jason Christie, and it's been a few years ago. And we had to go film a commercial for Lou's on Tenkiller. And he goes, "What size fish do you need?" I said, "We need a 5-pounder." He goes, "Okay." We roll up the lake. He goes to one lay down. He's like, "I'll catch one right here on top water." Get on the bank and set up. We set up. We do a slow-mo shot, and he throws his little pop-ar up there and catches a 5-pounder. And I was like, holy crap.
Jason Christie has pulled up to Tenkiller in jackpots, and this is not an urban legend. And 10 guys have handed the keys to their partner. They go back up to the truck, they load their crap, and they go home. If you ever fish a jackpot with Jason Christie, he will not launch his boat until numbers are getting called because he knows that half of the field will go home. And the tournament directors, he wins everything all the time. He wants, this is some Jason Christie stuff. He had a tournament time so good on Tenkiller, and he was kind of wondering a little bit why he stopped catching him as good. He was still beating everybody, but he was only beating them by 5 pounds instead of 10 pounds. The lake went down that summer. There was a drought. There were 13 cut batteries on that point from guys who knew that he fished there. They'd cut a battery and drop it, and he was still beating them with fish that were living there in acid.
Well, I went Jason Christie. What do you got, Todd?
Pointless. It doesn't mean anything to me. I went with the number one scoper in Group C.
Who was that?
I'm sure y'all can figure that out. But
I didn't even look.
What's your pick, Ish?
Oh, I'm with Matt on this one. I got to ride I'm riding the train. Oklahoma. I'm riding the Oklahoma train, as I call it, the Okie train.
So who you got, Todd? I don't know who you got.
Oh no, I went Jason Christie.
number one scoper in that group.
Yeah, probably
100%.
Actually,
He is. He's the number one scoper in that group.
Yeah, probably is.
Group D. Let's go. Todd, lead us off.
I'm going with the last guy. Oh, I got some information. This is great. I finally know something, and it just dawned on me. I'm going with the last guy who won a tournament in Oklahoma when the water was high. Flipping. I picked him.
Greg Hackney.
Yeah.
Did he? No, I was just. Oh, okay. I was joking, but okay.
No, that's yeah.
He won Bass Fest on Lake Tenkiller out of the bushes.
Look at that. It wasn't out of the bushes either. Out of the trees. At the trees. That's how high it was.
What about you, Ish? You got?
I went with Dakota. I mean, I like the Hackney pick, but I went with Dakota because he's versatile in so many ways. And I did get a little information myself from an angler. Told me not to pick him. And he said that the bite is very difficult. So obviously I don't have a single one of my buddies in any of these picks because they told me not to pick them.
Well, you know.
So I'm going Dakota.
What about you, Pangrac?
I'm going a little bit off the board. Todd's going to hate this pick, but one of the things that happens this time of year on Tenkiller with the water up, with a little bit of moving water, there is a good population of smallmouth and largemouth. There's a lot of flat rock points that are mid-lake down, and these fish eat top water with reckless abandon at certain times. Little look at the weather shows that we're going to have 80s with light wind, but overcast and rain for it. So I looked for a guy that wasn't afraid to lock a top water in his hand.
Brandon Cobb.
What?
Brandon Cobb.
Brandon Cobb. I could see him get a bottle or two on that, have a big giant bronze back come up and slurp it down. It's very patternable, but I think that suits his style, especially with the waters up there. I think he can flip some. He can throw a spook up there and catch him. Out of that group, that really stuck out to me as a value pick that could have some huge upside.
I tell you, I talked to Tommy Biffle there a few times, and his favorite time of the year, or favorite time to fish Tenkiller, was always when the water was up a little bit, and not to flip bushes though. You can go catch them flipping bushes, but throwing a biffle bug around the bushes is when he would absolutely maul them, and catching giants and a lot of them.
Sharon, Sharon, come see my little worm, Sharon. Come on, come see my worm, Sharon.
This group doesn't give me the biffle bug vibe, so I'm going. Where is he? Oh, Greg Hackney. Because if somebody is going to catch him out of the bushes, that's going to have a chance to catch him out of the bushes. Like Matt said, it's very patternable. I've been there when it's high. I've caught him there flipping. It's a little bit clearer water flipping situation in some situations if you're down the lake. But it definitely has. I've been there when I've been catching smallmouth out of the bushes. So it's just a lot of fun. Really good fish doing it. So Hackney is definitely my pick as well. Group E, I feel like I could take a dart to this board and probably make a better pick than what I'm going to probably make in this particular bucket. Heavily owned Blake Capps. I know he's probably spent a lot of time there, probably has a ton of experience there. But I'm really, really behind in the points, and I've got to make up a little bit of ground significantly. So I'm kind of leaning more from the experience side and going Gerald Swindle. Just hoping that his swim jig is as fire as it was at one of our last tournaments. So, what about you, Ish?
Blake Capps, I told you I'm riding the Okie train all the way to the winner circle, get myself up there in some points. I don't know much about the guy, but once again, local. I mean, locals played in a lot of events, especially when the conditions have been a little tough. And got to ride that train to the local knowledge.
What about you, Panger?
By the time this tournament gets to the weekend, I think the guys who have spent time on this small fishery, if the water's going to be dropping, I think where you can go catch one here and catch one there and run 5 miles and know a little spot or dock that they live on. I think that's going to play crucial. I don't think this is going to be. I think you're going to see some bigger weights at the beginning, particularly up the river, flipping that type of stuff, maybe down. But I think it's going to be a mix and match, and that's why I went with experience and went with Blake Capps as well. He does really well out there, primarily in the wintertime with an A rig. And in the colder months, but outside of Jason Christie, Blake Capps definitely has the most experience on this lake. I know personally, having talked to him, that he was really excited to make the Elite Series for the opportunity to fish on Lake Tenkiller.
Like while on your show?
He's on the show tomorrow, along with Luke.
Of course he is. Of course he is. You know, he hadn't even won yet, and he's on the show. I win, and I don't even get on the show.
I haven't been home.
But you have all this information that you had time to do research, but can't even have me on the show. It's okay,
dude. How wild was
Jeffries used to have me on the show all the time.
I just can't believe I picked that. How random was that?
That was awesome. Nobody got deep dived in that, but so we're lucky.
Todd,
Andrew let that one ride.
Yep. Sometimes it's better to leave things unsaid. Anyways, Todd, who's your pick?
I've scrolled up and down this like 10 times, and I'm with you. I'm trying to figure out another pick, and I can't figure out one that like I can talk myself into. So I went Blake Capps too. I don't see anything that's like that has that flipping, has that weird do everything vibe kind of like. Yeah. I don't
see, and that's why I went Gerald.
I would too, but dude,
he's the guy that just literally would do everything.
I picked Gerald like 4 times this year, and
I could say the same thing about Hackney. Hackney's burned us this year.
Yeah, I get it, but Gerald's like finished in the like bottom 8. Like the only times I picked him, he's freaking, and I just said, all right, I'm not picking him anymore. Nothing against him, because like he's the guy that stands out to me instantly. But I just told myself I wasn't going to pick him. So Blake Capps.
Okie dokie. All right.
I just
let's
wanted
go.
to like make a move somewhere, and I don't think I'm going to make a like. I don't think I'm going to in this group.
So, what do we think the winning weight for this week at Tenkiller will be?
I have no idea.
Matt, lead us off.
Yes, thank you.
I've got 71 pounds. The main reason is
Jesus.
I think you're going to see there's a lot of 3 to 5 pound fish in that lake, primarily a lot of heavy threes. It's going to get tough. I think you're going to see a 22. I think you'll see Jason Christie have 22, 23 pounds to lead things off, then maybe have a 17 or 18 pound bag, and then a couple 15-pound bags.
Yeah.
Damn,
But I
I'm way
think
low.
you're
I got
you're
10
gonna get a couple guys that are gonna get off to a real good start. There's some areas on that lake that you can get healthy in a hurry. It's just when you put that many people multiple days, there's
what
many
is
multiple day
healthy?
tournaments out there.
What is
22,
healthy?
23 pounds. 22,
Yeah.
23 pounds.
Like
Yeah,
a lot
remember,
of times
you're
when we
talking
have
to
a
Todd.
out there on
Todd catches
Saturday
10
and
pounders
Sunday,
everywhere.
there'll be one with big weights on Saturday doing some specific stuff, and then Sunday will be way more of a grind. And that's just 30, 40 boats out there.
I've never caught a 10-pounder in Oklahoma.
Yeah, but you caught a lot of 10-pounders. So when you say, you got to remember, he's talking about healthy for Oklahoma and not healthy for Texas.
But I only fished
Healthy
the
for Texas
Sorry.
is 30 pounds.
I only fished the Sorry lakes in Oklahoma, other than Grand.
Like
I will
a
say
good one.
Tenkiller has a
123-pound bag,
lot
yeah.
of 3 and 4 pounders in it. Like
I've
a
never
lot.
been a Tenkiller. I don't know.
Yeah. But
But I don't think it'll take much to make the cut.
Probably, maybe not. I went 69-12. I was right
Damn.
up there with you.
I'm way low.
Yeah, same with me. Well,
What about
I
you, Todd?
changed mine. I added 10 more pounds to mine because I had no clue.
That's what I'm about to do that too.
And I'm still at 63.7.
Oh, I've seen the tournaments, some of the tournaments that Christie used to fish there, and he used to put up nasty numbers.
Yeah.
And I think he's going to do it again.
I mean, I did that weight based on Jason Christie being in the field. I'm not going to lie. I think this could be like Grand Lake scenario where he's got an 8 to 12 pound lead going into the final day.
Yeah.
Like this could be one of the biggest hometown blowouts we've ever seen in the history of professional bass fishing.
What?
He's that good out there.
You heard it here first. Biggest blowout in history.
Even when it's high?
It don't matter.
No. Hey, that biggest blowout in history. The biggest blowout in history was at that Pasquotank River. That was.
Let me tell you another Jason Christie story from Tenkiller. He knew a flood was coming one time, and he went to a light pole that he knew had some rock around it, but it had grass around the outside, and he built himself up a rock pile on the light pole. Then, when it flooded 3 days later and it got up around there, he went and won 4 tournaments throwing a jig on that light pole off of the rock pile that he had made on it. You want any piece of that? You want any piece of that, Todd? I don't want any piece of that.
Dude, that's nothing.
Why you might as well just quit bass fishing right now. You just might as well quit bass fishing right now.
You don't play Fortnite. Those kids will go out there and find that thing. They'll find 10 of those and see the fish. And then when they throw on the fish, they'll choose which fish to catch on day 1 and not on day 2. Like, that stuff's gone, dude.
You know how there's like that, box that you have to put your,
catch
like,
that
$5
4-pounder.
in?
I want to catch that 5-pounder.
Like that box that you have to put the $5 in to like get on the lake that typically goes to the state. Jason Christie cut all those down with a chainsaw and put up a box that just says for Jason Christie $10, and the state didn't do anything about it. They were so scared of him.
Is it the
You have to pay Jason Christie to go fish Tenkiller now.
I know I have to pay Jason Christie when I drive up and down the highway.
That's true.
Dang.
That is very true. That is very true. Why is Andrews always in this dark place on his deal?
Because I live
emotionally,
in
like mafia, like mafia, like it's mafia style, like
I'm trying to save electricity. You know what I'm saying?
You need to make more money, Andrew.
No doubt. Completely agree.
Hey, what's fun? like in Louisiana, when you get a check in Louisiana, you know how like they take the taxes right out of your check
Yes.
so you can get it. That's the crazy thing in Oklahoma. When you get a check, they freaking just take the money out and give it right to Jason Christie.
Yeah.
It's the
Even
Jason
when he
Christie,
beats
the
you.
JC tax.
Yeah, even when he
Yeah.
beats you, they still tax you, and it still goes. To
Yeah. double tax.
yeah, you you get double
Nick
tax.
David
there.
tax.
So I don't even think we really need to do this one.
That's yeah. You just
But
Come on
how about we do it this way? Any name beyond Jason Christie who could win this tournament, who do we think it could be?
Well, I can. Chuck Norris would be my first pick, and he even says I'm not picking Chuck Norris. He's still picking Jason.
Chuck Norris is probably the only person that can beat Jason Christie in a fight. That's the only way he's gonna beat him.
Actually, the biggest question on this body of water: will they have a sighting of Bigfoot at this body of water?
Maybe.
What do you think, Matt?
It's Bigfoot heavy. I mean,
It is a Bigfoot heavy
it's
play.
right in the lair.
Yeah.
If it's flooding, it'll be Sassy Squatch.
Sassy
But y'all don't know nothing
Sassy
about that. That's saltwater deal. Y'all. Shout out to Billy Howe.
I think there's a chance like you can't even pick anyone else because there's a chance that no one else shows up to the ramp after cut day. Like just
to save the gas money.
Yeah.
Will Jason Christie? How about this? Will Jason Christie fish the fourth day?
That's the big question.
That's what I'm saying.
Because
how much is he going to win by? How much is he going to win by?
Pounds. I was going to say 12 pounds.
That's it? That's not much. That's not the biggest blowout.
That's going to be a full day's wait for somebody.
No, he didn't say the biggest blowout. The biggest hometown blowout.
Yeah.
Matt was careful how he worded that.
It was also, Biffle also went wire to wire at Gibson.
Scott Martin on Okeechobee for the
that wasn't
Open.
An Elite Series.
He didn't get to fish this year.
I didn't say it.
That's not.
I didn't say it. I didn't say it.
That was an Open though.
It wasn't
right.
Open.
That doesn't count.
Okay.
That was a blowout. I'm with Matt. I mean, I think
that was a blowout, but Opens don't count.
I don't think another angler from Oklahoma is going to beat him. I don't. I think if somebody beats him, it's going to be like a Jay Shakur, an Easton Fothergill, Trey McKinney, JT Tompkins, somebody else.
I agree. I don't think another angler from Oklahoma thinks they can beat him.
Right.
True. Very true.
Because they've all been beat by him so many times at that body of water. And basically every lake in Oklahoma. Right. So I'm kind of with y'all here. I mean, I'd love to see the craziness go down, but I do believe that Jason Christie wins this one in a landslide. What do you think the winning bait for Jason Christie is going to be? I think that's actually a pretty good question. Like, I know he might go do like 2 or 3 things, but what is going to be his main thing? Matt, what is his main thing?
A flipping bait.
You think so?
A flipping bait and a topwater. And I think he's going to mix in some brush pile fish, maybe even throw a minnow, surprise some people. But I think he's going to do it like 4 or 5 different ways because he knows that you can't just go back to the well 4 times doing the same thing on Tenkiller.
Right.
Hey, Andrew, real quick. Sorry. You said something that caught me off guard. You said no one from Oklahoma is going to beat him. How many people do you think are from Oklahoma that fish the elites? Yeah, there's only 3.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Well, there's only 2 guys that could beat him. That's not really.
Well, that's what I'm saying. Like, I mean, if you're looking
only
at
3 guys from Oklahoma, that's kind of.
That is. That's. Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, you got Blake Capps and Luke Palmer. I mean, Luke Palmer, I think.
I thought it would be more. Chance. I felt like it's always been way more than that.
I don't know. It used to be. I mean, you got to remember back when like Edwin and Butcher and Tommy and I mean, there was a bunch.
I'll tell you what, the guy who would have given him a run for his money I think he shows goats still. Is Mark Tyler?
Yes.
Yeah.
Tyler might have gave him a run.
I fished Tenkiller with him. He was really good on Tenkiller from that neck of the woods.
You have terrible signal.
Biffle would have gave Biffle a run too.
Biffle would have given him run.
That's a signal to get back on the road.
Oh, only if the sun's out. There would have
Right.
been a battle between him and Patrick.
Patrick.
Yeah, with the thighs. That's a
thighs out, guns
I
out,
appreciated it.
Yeah.
bass out. I thought you meant Kyle Patrick because he just.
Not that clown.
I'm gonna go down this path for a minute because I know he watches this show. But he went and made a video on Instagram. Shocker for everyone. About the NHL finals or the Stanley Cup, and it told me everything I need to know about him. He's a big Edmonton fan, and he hates people from Florida. So anybody that's watching from Florida, Kyle Patrick does not like you.
Deep dive.
I agree. Kyle Patrick has told me
on that one.
Kyle Patrick has told me he doesn't like people from Florida or anyone from the South, mind you.
Man.
I almost messaged
Poor
him back.
Poor guy's gonna come back. He's gonna come back to the launch ramp, and there ain't gonna be no trailer tires. No, I'm sorry, that's old school. That stuff don't happen anymore. These kids
I
are
was
too
going to ask him
afraid.
if
They
he
might
sees
ban
Look at this
him.
clown. Look at this clown.
They might ban him from They're gonna ban him from Fortnite. That's what's gonna happen. They're gonna ban him from Fortnite.
Such a nerd. All right, guys. Well, y'all have a good one. Thank y'all for stopping along the
You
way.
too.
Ish, Matt, be careful on your ways.
Yeah, we will.
Me and Todd are headed to a district track meet here pretty quick in the next day or so.
All right.
So
You boys have fun. I'll holler at you boys when I get back.
all right. See you guys.
All right,
Peace.
see ya.